Rain fell in hard silver sheets over the naval training compound, soaking the obstacle course until the dirt turned to mud. Recruits moved through it like ghosts in the fog, crawling, climbing, pushing, but one figure lagged far behind. Her name was Lieutenant Maya Torres, and she was failing. Again. Move it, Torres. The instructor's voice cut through the storm like a whip. You think the enemy's gonna wait for you to catch your breath? Maya's boots sank deeper into the muck as she tried to push herself up the last wall. Her arms trembled, her lungs burned. She slipped and fell hard, mud splattering across her face and uniform. The others were already across, sprinting toward the final sprint marker. The whistle blew. Another failed attempt. The group gathered at attention, panting, their faces streaked with rain and dirt. The instructor paced in front of them, jaw tight, clipboard in hand. When he stopped in front of Maya, she could feel the disappointment radiating off him. "You've failed every combat drill this week, Torres," he said, voice low but sharp enough to cut through her. "You've got the brains, but you move like a civilian. What's your excuse this time?" She swallowed hard. "No excuse, sir." He leaned closer. "You're not just failing yourself. You're dragging down the entire unit. You have one more day to prove you belong here. Otherwise, you'll be reassigned to desk duty. Permanently." The words hit her like a gut punch. Desk duty, the graveyard for anyone who once dreamed of making it to special operations. She had trained for this her whole life, but lately, her body betrayed her at every turn. That night, in the barracks, Maya sat on her bunk staring at the floor. The sound of laughter and chatter filled the room, the other recruits sharing jokes, stories, and snacks. But no one spoke to her. She was the weak link, the one who couldn't keep up. She remembered the letter from her father tucked in her locker. "Don't quit, Mija. You have more fight in you than you think." He had been a Marine, a hero who never got to come home. Every step she took here was supposed to honor him. But tonight, she felt only shame. The next morning, the recruits were woken at 0500 by the blaring horn. They assembled in full gear on the field, steam rising from their breath in the cold dawn. Today's challenge was worse, a full-scale combat simulation, endurance run, obstacle assault, live fire navigation, and a rescue scenario. It was designed to break even the strongest. Maya's heart raced as the drill began. The others surged ahead as the whistle blew. She forced herself to follow, crawling under barbed wire, leaping over walls slick with rain, dragging a 60-pound dummy through mud. Her arms screamed, her knees bled, every failure from the past week echoed in her head like a drumbeat. Too slow, too weak, not ready. Halfway through the course, her foot slipped again, and she went down hard. The dummy fell on top of her, pinning her to the ground. She gasped for breath, trying to shove it off, but her muscles wouldn't respond. "Damn it," she whispered, slamming her fist into the mud. That's when she heard boots crunching beside her. Heavy, deliberate steps. She looked up, and froze. A tall man stood over her, dressed in black tactical gear. His posture was straight, his expression unreadable. Even without introduction, everyone knew who he was. The SEAL commander, Captain Nathan Briggs. He was a legend in the compound, a man whose reputation alone could silence a room. He rarely interfered with training, most recruits never even saw him up close. And now, he was standing over her failure. "Lieutenant Torres," he said quietly, his voice steady despite the chaos around them. "You plan on making a bed down there, or are you getting back up?" She swallowed hard, forcing herself upright. "Sir, I'm trying." He crouched beside her, eyes sharp but not cruel. "Trying's for when you don't know how. You do know how. You just forgot who you are." She blinked through the rain. "Sir." He glanced toward the rest of the recruits, who were already clearing the far side of the course. Then his gaze returned to her, calm but cutting. "You're fighting this course like it's your enemy. Stop fighting it." She frowned, confused. "Then what am I supposed to do?" He leaned in closer, his voice dropping to a command that carried more weight than any shouted order. "Breathe." She stared at him. "Slow down," he said. "Focus on one movement at a time. Don't rush to win, control every breath. You lose your breathing, you lose your fight. Understand?" Maya nodded, though she wasn't sure she did. Then he stood, towering over her. "I'm giving you one order, Lieutenant, breathe and move. Don't think about finishing. Don't think about failing. Just breathe and move." He turned and walked off without another word. Maya stayed there for a second, chest heaving, watching him disappear into the fog. The rest of the recruits were nearly done, but something inside her shifted. She took one long, deep breath, in through the nose, out through the mouth, just like they taught in survival training. She grabbed the dummy again. And she moved. Her movements became slower, more deliberate. Each inhale fueled her muscles, each exhale released the panic. The mud still clung to her boots, the rain still stung her face, but she was no longer fighting it. She was using it. Step by step, she reached the wall again. The same wall that had defeated her a dozen times before. Her palms pressed against the slick surface, her fingers searching for grip. Breathe and move, she whispered to herself. She pulled. Her arms burned, but she didn't let go. Another breath, another pull, her foot found leverage. The next moment, she was over. For the first time, she didn't fall. She hit the ground running, moving faster now, stronger. Her mind had gone quiet. No noise, no doubt, just the rhythm of her breath. The instructors watching from the side exchanged glances. No one had expected this turnaround. By the time Maya crossed the final checkpoint, she was gasping, soaked, covered in mud, but she had finished. Not first, not even in the middle. But she had finished on her feet. When the whistle blew, she collapsed to her knees, laughing and crying all at once. Across the field, Captain Briggs stood with his arms crossed, watching her. A faint smirk tugged at the corner of his mouth. He gave a small nod before turning away. For the first time since arriving at the compound, Maya didn't feel like a failure. She felt alive, and deep down, she knew this was only the beginning. 3 months later, the dawn broke over the Syrian desert like a blade of fire cutting through smoke. The air was thick with tension, the hum of helicopters in the distance, and the faint echo of gunfire rolling across the valley. Lieutenant Maya Torres crouched behind a sand dune, scanning the horizon through her scope. The once failing recruit was now part of a real deployment, her first special operations mission under SEAL Commander Nathan Briggs himself. It had taken relentless training, sleepless nights, and every ounce of grit she possessed, but she'd earned her place. No one doubted her anymore. Even the veterans in the team had learned to trust her instincts. Still, the stakes tonight were higher than any drill. Their objective: extract an American intelligence officer captured by insurgents deep inside hostile territory. The catch: the compound was heavily guarded, wired with explosives, and they had only a 30-minute window before reinforcements arrived. Maya checked her gear again: rifle, comms, suppressor, med kit, everything in place. She caught Briggs' eye as he crouched beside her, his expression unreadable beneath the black face paint. "You ready, Lieutenant?" he asked. "Yes, sir," she said, steady voice despite the pounding of her heart. He studied her for a moment, then nodded. "Remember what I told you?" She smiled faintly. "Breathe and move." "Good." His lips twitched into a half grin. "Let's bring our man home." The team split into 2 units, Briggs leading Alpha Team toward the west wall, while Maya and Bravo Team circled around to the rear entrance. They moved like shadows, silent against the wind. Every sound was amplified: the crunch of boots, the clink of gear, the thrum of distant engines. Maya's breathing came slow and even, her mind calm despite the adrenaline. "Breathe and move." At the perimeter fence, she gave a signal. One of the SEALs cut the wire with a gloved hand, creating just enough space to slip through. Maya went first, landing soft on the other side. The compound loomed ahead, a concrete fortress surrounded by spotlights and watchtowers. 2 guards, north side, whispered Corporal Jenkins through the comms. "Take them," Maya ordered. 2 silenced shots cracked through the night. The guards fell without a sound. They advanced, every step calculated, every breath measured. For the first time, Maya felt not like she was following a mission, but leading it. Inside the compound, the halls were narrow and dimly lit. Shadows flickered across cracked walls. The smell of oil, gunpowder, and stale sweat filled the air. "Room clear," Jenkins muttered as they swept through the first corridor. Maya motioned left. "Intel says the target's being held in the east wing. Let's move." Suddenly, a noise. A door slammed open at the far end of the hall. 3 armed insurgents burst through, rifles raised. "Contact!" Maya shouted. Gunfire erupted. Bullets shredded plaster and echoed like thunder. Maya dove behind a pillar, returning fire in short, controlled bursts. Her pulse quickened, but her breathing stayed steady. One enemy dropped, then another. The third tried to retreat, but Jenkins took him down clean. "Clear," he called. Maya exhaled, eyes sharp, body alert. "Move, we're burning time." They pressed deeper into the compound. Briggs' voice came through the comms. Alpha team's pinned down near the west wall. They've got a sniper on the roof. Maya didn't hesitate. Copy that, Commander. We'll handle it. She led her team up a narrow stairwell, emerging onto the roof's edge. The sniper was crouched behind sandbags, scanning the desert through his scope. Maya lined up her rifle, took a slow breath, and squeezed the trigger. The sniper dropped instantly. Sniper down, she whispered. Good work, Torres, Briggs replied. Alpha's clear. Proceed to the extraction point. They found the captive officer in the east wing, bruised, but alive. He flinched when Maya appeared in the doorway, rifle raised. U.S. Navy, she said softly. We're here to get you home. Tears welled in his eyes. Thank God. Jenkins moved to cut the ropes binding him while Maya covered the hallway. The seconds ticked like bombs. Outside, the distant rumble of trucks told her reinforcements were already on the way. Bravo team, exfil now, Briggs ordered through comms. You've got 5 minutes before that valley lights up. They moved fast, through corridors now echoing with shouts and boots. Alarms blared. Gunfire erupted behind them. Move, move, Maya shouted, covering the rear as the team carried the rescued officer through the gate. Just as they reached the perimeter, an explosion ripped through the compound. The blast threw Maya off her feet. The world blurred into dust and fire. Her ears rang. She blinked through the haze, tasting blood. Her comm crackled with static. Torres, do you copy? Briggs' voice. She coughed, forcing herself up. Copy. I'm good. Minor hit. Go without me, I'll catch up. Negative, Briggs barked. No one gets left behind. Stay put. A shadow moved through the smoke, an enemy soldier charging straight for her, knife raised. Maya reacted without thought. One sidestep, a twist, and the knife clattered to the ground. She drove her knee into his gut, slammed his head into the dirt, and didn't stop until he was still. Her hands shook, but her breath was steady. Then, through the smoke, Briggs appeared, dragging her up by the arm. You good, Lieutenant? Yes, sir, she gasped. He grinned. Then let's move. They sprinted through the breach together, bullets kicking up sand around them. A helicopter loomed in the distance, rotor blades whipping the air. Jenkins and the others were already aboard, waving them in. Maya and Briggs dove inside as the chopper lifted off, just as another explosion tore through the compound below. The desert roared with fire and chaos, but inside the helicopter, there was only silence and the deafening thud of rotors. Briggs looked over at her, his face smeared with soot, eyes blazing with pride. You did good, Torres. You kept breathing. She gave a shaky laugh. Almost forgot once or twice. He chuckled. Everyone forgets in the noise. The trick is remembering when it counts. For a moment, neither spoke. The adrenaline began to fade, replaced by the surreal calm that came after survival. The rescued officer sat between them, clutching a water bottle, whispering, I thought no one was coming. Maya looked out the window at the burning horizon. We always come, she said quietly. Hours later, back at base, the team filed into the hangar, exhausted but alive. Commanders debriefed them, medics patched wounds, and somewhere in the chaos, someone began laughing, that wild, relieved kind of laughter that only comes from escaping death. Briggs approached her afterward, hands on his belt, expression softer than she'd ever seen. You proved something out there, he said. She tilted her head. That I can follow orders. He shook his head. That you can lead under fire. That's rarer than you think. Maya didn't know what to say. He nodded toward the field where recruits were training in the distance, young, eager, and trembling just like she once had. I'm assigning you to assist with next cycle's combat drills, he said. You've got something they need to see. She blinked. Me. Train the new recruits. You learned the hard way, he said simply. That makes you the best kind of teacher. As he walked away, Maya looked toward the field, and for a moment, she saw her younger self out there, struggling in the mud, gasping for air. She smiled. Then she whispered the words that had changed everything. Breathe and move. And this time, she knew exactly what they meant.